Everyone thinks Billy Butcher is the hero, the only man willing to stand up to monsters. But what if I told you he's been the real villain this entire time? Not just morally gray, not just broken, but the one person in The Boys who would destroy the entire world, just to prove he's right. Because on the surface, Butcher looks like the good guy. He fights Supes, exposes corruption, and goes directly against Vought International. Everything about him screams hero, but the deeper you look, the more something starts to feel off. Because Butcher isn't fighting for justice, he's fighting for something much darker. From the very beginning, Butcher's mission was never about saving people, it was about revenge. Everything he does, every decision he makes, comes back to one thing: what happened to his wife. And that changes everything, because once your goal becomes revenge, there are no rules anymore, and Butcher proves this over and over again. Let's talk about how he treats his own team. Huey Campbell, the most innocent person in the group. Butcher doesn't protect him. He uses him, pushes him, manipulates him, drags him deeper into violence, until Huey starts becoming something he never wanted to be. And that's not a mistake. And if you're starting to see The Boys differently now, make sure you subscribe, because this is just the beginning. That's exactly what Butcher does to everyone around him. He doesn't build a team, he builds weapons. Now, here's where things get really uncomfortable. Butcher hates Supes, calls them monsters, says they're dangerous. But the moment he gets the chance, he becomes one. He takes the same power, uses the same violence, and justifies it the exact same way. The only difference between Butcher and the people he hates is that he thinks he's right, and that's what makes him more dangerous. Because Butcher doesn't have a limit. If killing one person solves his problem, he'll do it. If destroying a city solves his problem, he might do that too. And if wiping out every single Supe on Earth gets him what he wants, he wouldn't hesitate. Think about that. That's not a hero. That's someone willing to commit genocide and call it justice. In the original story, this isn't even a theory. It's the ending. Butcher becomes the final villain, not because he changes, but because he was always heading there. And suddenly, everything he's done makes sense. Every lie, every manipulation, every brutal decision was never about saving the world. It was about feeding his obsession, which means something even more disturbing. If Homelander is the product of a broken system, then Butcher is what happens when a normal human chooses to become just as broken. So no, Butcher isn't the hero, and maybe he never was, because the real danger in The Boys isn't just power, it's what people are willing to do when they believe they're justified. So tell me, who's worse, the man who was created to be a monster, or the one who chose to become one? And if you want more videos that completely change how you see characters like Billy Butcher and Homelander, subscribe, because the next one might change everything again.